right, this is Spam Pow Comic Hour with our host, Andrew Garner.
And Chris Ramos.
And tonight, we are reviewing The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing and Joe Bennett comic book run.
Immortal.
Not
incredible, not
yes.
fantastical.
Fantastical, not astonishing.
Yes. It's like, what other adjective can we use? We're going to go with Immortal Hulk,
Yes.
which actually fits this story really, really well. You've probably heard a lot about Immortal Hulk. It was one of the biggest runs at the time for Hulk.
It was nominated as the best continuing series.
It somewhat reinvented Hulk for people to, I think, respect him again instead of just seeing him as the dumb Hulk. I think a lot of people see it as that.
Yeah, I think there's so much representation from the movies, which did a great from the MCU movies. We'll clarify. movie clarifies.
I mean, he's been in a lot of movies too,
right?
So there's that.
They're getting more use out of him. But yeah, this run came out from 2018 to 2021, and this actually is a 50-issue run. Again, we always talk about on the show, having a huge run to kind of look back on and see like a whole writer and creative team like stay with it for that long still is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. I mean, Al Ewing wrote this for 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Al Ewing wrote this for 50 issues, which if you think of an issue coming out once a
month.
I mean,
sometimes they're weeklies, but
yeah, right. That's 4 years.
Yeah.
Really, really good run.
Okay, Ramos, pop quiz. When did Incredible Hulk #1 come out?
1962.
You called it.
Am I right?
Money.
Yes.
May of 1962.
All right. You heard it here.
He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
That is in my brain, man. That's great.
And now that these collected editions are becoming more available and getting collected and getting remastered even in some cases, they actually just reprinted the original Stanley Jack Kirby run in omnibus format. Volume 2's already come out. They're still both readily available from what I'm aware of, that you can pick those up on the shelf at your local bookstore, go in stock trades or getting price books. You should be able to find those, or they're going to get in stock soon.
Well, and Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and Hulk and all of that, is came out around the same time.
Yeah, I looked. It was like Fantastic Four was 1961.
61, yeah, first issue.
And as we're talking, Fantastic Four is getting his new movie next year.
Well, and you've heard us talk about it before, but Fantastic Four was like the first Marvel blockbuster comic. Like that was when Stan Lee just exploded on the scene. So of course, having a string of wins after that.
Yeah, it was like Spider-Man, awesome. Fantastic Four, like right there.
Yep.
Number 1, number 2 there.
Bam, 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 one after another. And then that's why there's something about these characters that really are immortal. See what I did there? But it's something about these characters that you can keep writing and coming up with new stories even after all this time, which is really, really, really weird to like read something and you just know it's refreshing. And that's why for Immortal Hulk, I think 2 issues in, maybe 3, it's like, I get it. Like I get the feeling they want to put towards this. I get the horror aspect. I get the character development.
And they wanted to make it so you didn't have to read like 50 years of the Hulk.
Well, it worked. I mean, because Hulk is like one of those things that even kids have in their brains of like,
here's a base.
It's just somewhat scary of a monster that's just rage, it's just screaming. It's
and
just
that's like a basis
power.
on like Frankenstein a bit.
Right. So kids really, they kind of pick their legacy characters, and Hulk is definitely with the list of, the top 5 legacy characters ever.
Yes.
And this story was something, even when it came out, I remember just hearing a lot of hype about it. And you're like, what is going on? I needed to look into it because it was really, really exciting when it came out.
Yeah, we kind of did this in partial because Hulk is something that we've been kind of circling around this run for a long time, but because it's such a big run, it's hard to figure out what we tackle. How do we overview this when do we have time? There's so many reads out there. We finally got started and just started rereading this because some of us, I think you said we read the first 2 volumes 3 years ago. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, if this came out in
2 years ago,
2018, I bet you by like 2020, 2021, I was like, I just want to see what it's about.
Yeah.
And sometimes
I think the deluxes were just coming out.
Yeah. And like, guilty as charged sometimes. And I have a lot of fellow comic book readers that can join me on this, but sometimes you read like, oh yeah, I read a couple issues of that, or I dipped into that one.
Sure. I only read the first 2 volumes and then I'm like, I'm rereading it and I'm finishing the run.
Yeah. I will not stop. And you just have to steel yourself to that. But it's like, reading a quarter of a book and you're like, do I want to continue this or do I want to
is it worth my time?
Shelf this and come back to it someday?
Sure.
Sometimes it's good enough to do that.
It depends how your brain works, what you're feeling, what you're passionate about, a lot of factors. And then another reason why we did this that was kind of just happened circumstances that legendary Hulk writer Peter David, we talked about him on the Dark Tower run that he adapted, but he just passed away. And he had a 12-year run on the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. And when Peter David passed away, a lot of writers in the comic book industry and in just regular fiction and TV shows and science fiction. I mean, he was
so much.
He wrote constantly.
Yeah, he probably had 30, 40 years in the industry.
Yeah, and he was just really well known as far as his creative mind, but also he was even, unfortunately, more well known that he was really pushing for healthcare in the comic book industry.
Yeah.
He was pushing because he was sick and
trying to advocate for it.
Yeah, and a lot of people came to his aid, but at the same time, it was just unfortunately, comic book artists and comic book writers are not benefited. I mean, they're freelance. They work just day by day. They're not like part of a corporation.
It's a work for hire kind of thing.
Yeah. And totally, freelance people trying to figure it out, but also putting together these multi-million-dollar characters for the world.
Yeah.
But Peter David, he was
in the industry though.
Yeah, he was one of those where if you said, what do you remember from Peter David? Easily people would say the Hulk.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. So yeah, he was huge. He was instrumental in just all the facets of the Hulk. There's literally 6 omnibuses right now that it's just the Hulk run. There's 5 of his initial run, and that's the Maestro, the Far Future run.
Well, you have all of them.
I have all 5. I haven't got Maestro yet. I probably will someday.
And that's it, though.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because that even costs something
so
modern that.
I
am so close.
Peter
and
David.
Then I have to read it. But
you have to set aside like 8 months.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me for 8 months. I'm
absolutely. But yeah, he wrote the Hulk. He wrote Spider-Man 2099. He invented that. Genisville, which is a Captain Marvel side character. He did so much for the industry, and he was probably writing up till 3-4 years ago before his health went super bad, but he had his mind probably all the way to the end. So rest in peace, Peter David, rest in power there. All right. So what is the Immortal Hulk about? Well, this there's a lot of answers.
Great question.
And there's a Jeff Lemire did the intro for the first deluxe, and it gets collected in the omnibus as well. But kind of some of the lines that he said that I wanted to bring up was, well, if I were suddenly handed the Hulk today, I would be at a total loss. When trying to think of anything to do with green jeans, I just point to the Immortal Hulk and say, that. Now, I know that Mr. Al Ewing, has not done this feat alone. There is his main collaborator, Joe Bennett, well as a host of talented inkers, artists, colorists, and others. I'll get to them too. But let's start with Al's approach to building the Hulk, Immortal Hulk, and why it is so damn brilliant. First, Al tore everything down and brought the Hulk back to his essential components. I know there has been a lot of Incredible Hulk stories where the character has been a superhero, but to me, at its very core, Hulk is a monster. A monster should be scary. And Al has made Hulk scary again. One of the smartest things Al did was throw the Hulk rulebook out the window. Suddenly, we don't know what his full powers are or how they work. And as a result of the unpredictability, he becomes terrifying again. So this, first and foremost, is a horror book, and it's all the better for it.
Nice.
That kind of sets the stage of what this book is.
Yeah. And you kind of think too, like when I was
Jeff Lemire, like he wrote Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, I mean,
for him to say that.
Jeff Lemire, again, one of the better writers out there. And he just said, hey, I kind of like, give homage. This is,
I couldn't write the Hulk. No way.
It's great. And it kind of scared away other authors because of how good it was.
Right.
Well, and not just how good it is, but like he said,
what it takes.
Interesting what angle you're going to, pursue, right?
Absolutely.
Because you're right. They could have just said, hey, we're going to write Hulk running through the universe and winning everything.
Yeah.
But I always thought the greatest idea for Hulk to me was that you started writing him more as like a force of nature. Like Hulk is rage. Like he just is. It's sort of like when they say like Flash is the speed force, like Flash is speed. So like if he wants to speed up or slow you down or pull on and push, he is that force.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting to say Hulk just is anger. And he's just,
they kind of embrace the monster aspect, but then take it to another level.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as balancing that or just really pushing that, I guess.
Right. And so kind of putting this in the timeline, this is after World War Hulk. This is after Civil War II. This is characters have died and characters have also come back and they acknowledge that and say, wow, last time I met you were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Bruce Banner, even he is afraid of still becoming the Hulk in some respects. He always has been struggling to maintain balance with the good guy, trying to just not wreck everything, try to contain all of his motions, be in control all the time. And this is like the issue or the run that goes, what if he wasn't? What if he just leaned into it?
What if he finally gave into that side of him and actually realized that it's because it was always Bruce Banner, the normal person, the weak scientist, he was wanting to just be a human, and he was cursed with the Hulk. That's how I always saw it.
Cursed, yeah.
That he was just like, I don't want to turn into the Hulk, but actually when I do, it kind of feels good because it's just that part of everyone that just wants to like Hulk out, right?
Yes.
Like it's that nature of humanity. That's that violent, just let loose.
Yeah. Is it nature nurture? Is it a product of your environment?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. They take a good look
or like
at that.
if you could tap into sort of this unbridled forever strength, like, would you do that? It's a different way to look at it.
Yeah.
But
so
the way they start this, he's just wanting to just be left alone, but he also realizes that if he needs to jump in somewhere, he will.
All right. Absolutely. And as I do the intro here, this book is very graphic and it's a bit mature read. Not an all ages book for all means. So warning there. So it opens at a grocery store. And, it's just average day. He's kind of just talking to a few people. Nothing, just kind of minding business. All of a sudden, somebody goes in to rob the gas station. It's like, okay. Bruce is like, hey, don't do that. And all of a sudden, one of the girl he's talking with, she gets shot. He's like, oh, okay. And he tries to defend the counter guy and just being a hero. And he gets shot in the head, almost point blank. And he falls down. And they're like, oh, God, somebody call the cops, whatever. We have a body dead. And so they're reviewing it. And all of a sudden in the lab or in the morgue.
In the morgue.
He hulks out and actually just comes back, finds the guy who shot. He was trying to actually repay back his debt he owed for the mob. And he just comes back to life as the Hulk and just takes his arms and just wrecks the place as typical Hulk. And you're like, whoa, wait, so you're telling me Bruce Banner or the Hulk could get a death blow and come back?
Yeah.
We haven't seen that.
Well, we haven't seen it
or predominantly.
Where it was. So to me, that opening scene too, it was like it just no one forced it. It just happens.
Right. Yeah.
So like before, Bruce would do some sort of inner monologue or inner battle, be like, Hulk
right.
is
Like
still
take
here.
World War Hulk. Like
Yeah.
he fought the Sentry. Now everybody knows who the Sentry is. To a standstill.
Yep.
Both are depowered. And that was the strongest he ever was in his comic book years.
And now it's like with him literally at the morgue, it just happens without him forcing anything.
Yeah.
So the Hulk is truly an immortal force.
Right.
Somehow.
Yes. And that was like, he, as the Hulk, is being very heroic as well. And he's more of taking a page out of the Batman book and saying she was 12.
Yeah.
She was a young person and I am coming back. Bullets are going to affect me as the Hulk.
I am vengeance.
And he's kind of this more like, when he's the Hulk, he's got this more like he's smiling and his hulked out rage for him. And that kind of gives everybody pause like, what?
Well, and he talks a lot more in this
yes,
book.
He's a lot more saying not coherent words rather than Hulk smash.
Yeah.
Every other word.
Well, that's another thing about the Hulk through the years, like decades. Hulk has changed his capacity to think. He's changed like how much of Bruce Banner is controlling him.
Right.
There's been so many iterations of Hulk. You know what? Let's just say 6 or 7 different Hulks.
Yeah.
But like,
so I guess
this
is a good moment of time to say Hulk has multiple personas.
Yes.
I think that's what you're getting to.
That have evolved through each sort of writer, but like also through each era. Like how much can the Hulk influence Bruce Banner and vice versa? And then if there's 80% Hulk and 20% Bruce, or if there's 50% Bruce and 50% Hulk, that's what's been going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so, just so everybody's kind of caught up, there's a couple different personas that are highlighted throughout this run. We just mentioned World War Hulk. That's called the Green Scar. He's like the leader of all of his people. He's a gladiator. Probably the strongest Hulk that we know about to date.
He was pretty smart.
That's a great run. Collected Omnibus. Please go check that. And then there's also Joe Fixit, invented by Peter David. He used to be the Gray Hulk.
He wore a suit.
Yeah, he wore a suit.
A fedora hat.
Right. Todd McFarlane actually kind of wrote one of the, did some art designs for him back in the day. Really cool. But yes, he's kind of like the mobster, like Brooklyn accent, full on. Great. Even like they write it as a Brooklyn accent. Very cool. There's like the regular Hulk where he's just Hulk smash. That's probably his like base form.
Like classic Hulk.
Classic Hulk, we could call that. Yeah. And there's so many facets in between all that. That's been going on for like 30 years. So this one that we encountered, that we learn in this book, is called the Devil Hulk.
Devil Hulk.
Yes. Oh, I guess Maestro is the future Hulk, but that's another one. But yeah, this is like this is a newest reincarnation of the Devil Hulk. There has been like future people a different writer might make a more monster version of it, but this is what they're calling, Devil Hulk.
So in this series, are they saying that Hulk is more of like a being from hell or something like that?
They're kind of alluding
like the nightmare region.
Yeah, I would say nightmare. I would say, because they kind of toy with it, is it all bad or is there some redeeming parts? I think there's several different approaches and character examinations that
they just like pure ego or pure
ego. I would say it's a very big ego. Yep, compared to the other ones. He is more of like the vengeance side. He is rageful, but he's more of like cunning and clever and thinking and very much forward thinking about it.
And the other thing too,
different than Professor Hulk. That's another one. Now that I keep talking about it, Professor Hulk.
The thing that always really got me about the Hulk too is that he was aware of Bruce Banner all the time. Like he knows that he is evolved from like he knows he's transformed from Bruce Banner. So he's not like a totally separate being. He's he's like a piece of Bruce is always in there somewhere,
Right.
and he knows it. He realizes it. So I always wondered, like, does Hulk see Bruce's life normally? Does he live that life, and then he's just like there with him in his
Sure.
brain the whole
And
time?
I think that's what Al Ewing kind of takes an examination of, because like a lot of the illustrations that him and Joe Bennett sought out in this book was like when Bruce Banner looks in the mirror, Hulk is there.
Yeah.
Hulk was always watching him. Even with this devil like reincarnation starting to pop out more, he's kind of like taking pause and things like that. And then the new twist, besides all the personas that I rattled off, we're still using all those. They're part of Hulk lore, but they're saying Hulk only comes out at night. That's the big twist on the book. Because he's come back so much often that Bruce Banner is the day and Hulk is the night. So when something were to happen at night, that's his time to shine. That's when he's most powerful. Not exactly when the moon's out, but at nighttime.
But that's when Hulk makes things right. You know,
Right.
Like he like remembers all of the, hurt and everyone else, and then he's like, I'm gonna go find them and fix this now.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, like some of the illustrations, like he's eating at the diner and he sees the Hulk in a reflection of the fork as he's eating the bacon. And it's like, whoa, that's cool.
So that's kind of the horror aspect too, is that he's just sort of like
always
watching.
And that's also Hulk. Your mind watching you.
Like he knows what he's capable of.
Trippy and psychedelic a bit.
Yes. And that's why everyone wants to like keep Bruce happy, because if Bruce Banner stops like loving humanity and Bruce Banner stops respecting the Earth, he will just unleash it and say, who cares? But Bruce always holds back because he's like, I'm a human and I like humans and I like where I'm at and I don't want to wreck the world. But if he did want to wreck the world, he could.
Right. I also like some of the villains in this book are great. We'll get to them as we keep talking throughout the podcast. But Dr. Fry, he is, I don't know how would you describe it? Like they call it walking ghost.
Yeah, he like absorbs a
massive amount of
radioactive
gamma energy. Like he is a gamma walking ghost.
Rays, yeah.
And it's like when they talked about like what was it at the beginning of the book when they talked about like Hiroshima and stuff like, or when they dropped the nuclear bombs and stuff, people were like the walking ghost phase. They call it the phase when you feel like you're still healthy, like you're not dead already, but death coming lumbering toward me slowly and painful. The Geiger counter just keeps crackling and he says laughing at me. And he as Bruce Banner is always like tormented, but this guy, he's like the living embodiment. Like he could still take him out. But he almost feels this simple sympathy. He's like, I'm afraid of dying.
Yeah.
And I don't want to die.
So he's, again, another cursed energy being.
Absolutely. And because he was trying to cure himself of disease, trying to enhance himself because he's seen the experiments that Bruce Banner did. He's like, oh, okay, I'll give it my try. And obviously his body gave out on him. And the only way they can take care of him or put him out because he's so radioactive is they have to bury him in a concrete coffin, underground. Kind of like they keep talking about, some of the when the bombs went off, they have to
seal it away for a long time.
Absolutely.
There's no technology right now that can actually handle it.
Yeah. So that was like, oh, okay.
And just like other superheroes, comic book people, just like Batman is responsible for the villains that are surrounding him. Hulk ends up with the same group of villains, but they all have this weird unifying gamma radiation.
Yep.
And they all have this weird unifying, like, I tried an experiment and it ruined my physiology. Yeah. And that's where I'm at now. Right. So Hulk is collecting these other tortured beings with him.
Yes.
And he's no help. It's just like you either can flip back and forth from a human to me, like Amadeus Cho and stuff like that. There's a lot of other little,
It was
or
the
like
Hulk for
his,
a little bit. Yeah.
his cousin, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Yep.
So there's a lot of them out there that are just that idea that they can flip back and forth. But Hulk being established as this nightmare realm horror, I think was really good.
Absolutely. And it really kind of like Jeff Lemire was saying, he stripped away everything so he could build it back. And just kind of reestablish the universe. Another predominant character is detective. She's like a detective journalist, Jackie. And Jackie McGee. There you go. And she, growing up, she had a accident in her family, or her bunch of her, I think it was like her father or something, or her mother was killed. Her neighborhood was destroyed. Very traumatic experience being in the Hulk. I wouldn't want to be in the Marvel universe. If the Hulk came to my neighborhood would be gone. So being a reporter, trying to get some answers, to get clarity, to report the truth on it. That's a great background, and also a great character we as the audience can travel through, other than Banner. So that was a really cool character develop, and they do a great job with her. And even towards the end, they give her some connections to keep the story moving, I will say.
Is she considered our in, like, as the reader?
I totally think so.
She is the reader that kind of travels through.
She is asking all the questions. As a good journalist, yes.
As a good journalist does, and helps us to kind of ask the questions in our head.
Right, absolutely. So she's like, hey, I want to meet Bruce Banner. But Bruce Banner and the Hulk, kind of like the TV series, he is just hitchhiking from county to county. He ain't staying too long, but he might have to be
on the move.
He's on the move. So she actually gets our first connection into the book is Walter Lankowski. And Walter Lankowski's other name is also known as the Sasquatch from Alpha Flight, written by John Byrne. Same John Byrne that created the She-Hulk. Byrne also has his roots in Hulk as well. And so this is like a really classic character to the Gamma and Hulk universe to bring back, which is awesome. I think he was brilliant in these first couple volumes that he was there. And he became kind of like a really integral character throughout the series and supporting cast. Because he's not exactly gamma radiated, but he's like kind of like, I messed around with gamma and I'm a mechanical Sasquatch. I also have ties to like Canadian roots, but mysticism and whatnot. But at the end of the day, he's messed around with gamma. He's a gamma scientist.
It's funny because
he ran into him, I think, in college here.
Yeah, and they were always so close.
Walter was the jock, Bruce was the scientist.
Like in the way that they built the Avengers, they were always sort of the Canadian Avengers on a small
absolutely
pocket,
and they even have Alpha Flight had ties to like the X-Men. So it's kind of like a good go-between for everybody, which is really cool to have. And so they were kind of talking about it's like, oh, I can get you cool, all right, get you connected and things like that. And we really build up, and he, along with her, is able to finally get a meeting with the Hulk at a hospital because he's I think Bruce probably died again or something like that. Even Walter passes away here.
He's not a strong human.
No, it's not a strong human. They're also trying to solve a lot of mysteries and things like that in between. And they go like, wow, okay. And they haven't had and then Walter gets possessed in this first volume.
Yes. That was good. I thought that whole story arc with Walter was really good. It's not a character you see very much, but if you're sort of an old school reader, it's neat to bring it back.
It's a great homage. Yep. And so we're like, wow, okay. First 5 issues, we're already getting a proper Hulk fight, like monster.
Yeah, not just
in
him.
A hospital,
not just him swatting around things.
Right. Yeah. And so that was really cool just to see his power set, what he's going through, and then you figure out, okay, who possessed him? Who has the capabilities to it? What's going behind it? And that's Brian Banner. So Brian Banner. Yep. From the Ang Lee Hulk movie. And also like really in the Hulk universe, he is Bruce Banner's father. And he's also an abusive father. So that's another thing that this team has decided to delve into is what is Bruce part is his environment that he grew up in with an abusive father the reason why the Hulk is a rageful monster?
Well, and the other part too,
Or did the gamma bomb just enhance it?
yeah, like if Bruce Banner was a super, super calm, like Buddhist man, would the Hulk ever come out? Right. So they had to have some catalysts here and there where Bruce would say, that's a trigger for me. That's enough.
Yeah, it's a trigger. Yeah.
And so they tried to figure out, like, if we gave him a backstory of this has been his childhood wasn't really good, then he already has some trauma in there, and then they can kind of tack, into that. And it's always been, I understand that the gamma radiation just, when it evolves other beings, it actually literally changes them. This one, it just enhanced what was already in there.
Right.
That's kind of my
take. Even when he finds out, or the questions that the Sasquatch is asking him and the way he talks, when he recognizes it's Brian Banner, his father, that sends Hulk in just a downward spiral.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage for him, even as the strongest one there is.
Yep.
To even try to make any headroom from there. Great character examination and a way to make the Hulk not infallible in a way. Like, he has a weakness. He's just battling with his mind, just like anybody else.
And every once in a while, a human gets caught in there, and you're like,
yeah,
you got to get out of there, man.
You got to get out of there.
They're going to tear this whole place down.
Right. And even finally, Jackie, at the end of that fight, one of the things she asks is, fine, here's my quick question. How do I do it? How do I get to what you are? And just go home.
Yeah. It's just, how do I get to be, I want to be like you. Yeah. Like, she thinks that solves everything if you can just let that rage go.
Out. Yeah.
And even he realizes,
no,
just go home.
Just go away.
Yes.
So that, oh yeah. And then here's the other thing. There are two people in every mirror. There's one you can see, and there's one, the one you don't want to. And that's like where Brian Banner is. He's like, oh my God, okay. And then you find out, like, Brian Banner can, like, possess other bodies and things like that because he's lost his own.
Well, like, this part was cool.
So it's the part of the mystery.
Because Bruce Banner looks in a mirror and sees Hulk. Yeah. Hulk looks in a mirror and sees his abusive dad.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that's like, whoa, that's deep.
That was good. That was a good twist.
Yes, absolutely. And then they throw in, like, stuff, what was it, Shadow Base. That's the new, like, gamma flight thing that the government, after Thunderbolt Ross was taken out, that's the guy that's like a secret military like group that can go after the Hulk. So they always have to have the government try to go after the Hulk.
And they always have to say, this new protocol is the Hulkbuster group.
Right. This has been going on for
They've been
ages.
Trying that since 1961.
Right.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, pretty much. And so they're always trying to go after him. They're like, hey, Avengers, can you go after him? He's done something he can't go back on because he tore up this neighborhood. Can you go after him? Sure. So this new Avengers lineup is kind of different. It's Iron Man and the Hulkbuster. It's Thor after Jason Aaron's run. It's She-Hulk. It's Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Captain America.
Black Panther, and Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Because they can do.
But the new Ghost Rider with his car there is a really tough, right? Like they've established him they've established him in his own comic as just being this tough, no nonsense character. And it is cool. The next issue that you open to, you just see the Ghost Rider just get wrecked.
He's like, that was a skeleton. That was a car. That was a skeleton in a car. Oh yeah, totally. And he just gets thrown.
So one thing that was always really fun in comics, just for comic readers out there, just if you're just getting into comics, we've been reading for a long time. Obviously, everyone has their own power set, like power skill set, and they've established everyone at a certain level. And they write, the funnest thing is when they write like a whole comic art and just showing like how strong this character is. And you're like, man, this character is like tossing buildings around and tossing cars around and like can't get hurt and you can be in space. And then all of a sudden someone else comes up and just literally smacks them away. So it's just a great thing to read when you see someone that you've set all these rules and then all of a sudden, boom, the rule is broken. And seeing the Ghost Rider getting thrown like that was like, okay.
And I mean, Hulk still hasn't forgotten when the Illuminati, which was like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Iron Man, Black Bolt, Xavier from the X-Men, and all those guys came together and threw him into space saying, bye. And that's how Planet Hulk and World War Hulk happened.
Get off of Earth.
Planet Hulk was, that was the planet he landed on. When the bomb came off, that was them. When he returned after the Planet Hulk, when that got destroyed, Hulk came back and got vengeance of the world. That was World War Hulk. And he still hasn't forgotten that. Yeah. And Al Ewing was like, he didn't forget.
So he's not the happiest with the Avengers ever.
Any of them.
And they say, hey, we're your friends, so we're going to control you.
Right. The closest guy might be Captain America.
But
just close.
They had to get that out of the way in the first volume, because that's the first thing people will wonder is,
what are the Avengers doing?
Where are the Avengers? So they just had to wrap that up and get it out of the way and say it's not anything to think about.
Right. Absolutely. Even She-Hulk.
They do not stop him.
Yeah. Even She-Hulk, they have a little match. Is like, she's trying to calm him down. And he is like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, you're not acting like my cousin. Oh, you're possessed right now. That's a problem. And she gets whipped. But yeah, that's so interesting that just the way they interacted. And then they also, I won't give too much away, but they do get a rematch away in like volume 5.
Oh.
Yeah, so they do come back. Like everybody, they all come back.
Well, and it also right away in this first volume, which is again is like,
this is just for volume.
Yeah. They just say, okay, the average superhero story that you've read before is done. We're moving that on.
Oh yeah.
And it just helps kind of bring some closure to that and just say, okay, everybody, we are telling a totally different story and a totally different mindset.
Yes.
So if you think this is going to be just Hulk versus the Marvel Universe, it's not.
Right. And even at the end of that Avengers fight, Tony sends down, stops the fight with a, I think it's a satellite laser beam.
Yeah.
And I go, whoop, and he's down, and somebody cuts up his body, and he's in glass jars. And because they want to experiment on him. Well, it turns out he can just put his body back together. So really, that's something that's never been done.
No.
Never been done.
Like showing that Hulk can be cut into 20 pieces and still be alive.
And still be alive.
And he's still like smiling in the glass jar with his head and stuff.
So when you use the metaphor of like a curse, I think they really leaned into a curse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the monster scenario, but redefining what does that monster mean, and things like that. And so they really kind of reimagined his power set a bit and say, here's what we can do. Here's what would be really cool if he could reform himself every time he dies. Because he can die, but he comes back.
Yeah.
And his body is pretty much alive. His mind is a different thing, but his body is always alive. And he'll remember when he dies, like, oh, that hurt.
Like, who did this?
Right. And then it kind of keeps delving into like the Hulk's cast. Like Crusher Creel comes back.
Mm-hmm.
The Absorbing Man, he can absorb anybody's powers, any materials. He can make his body out of it. Really cool there. He becomes kind of like this anti-hero that teams up with them. Doc Samson comes back.
I always like Doc Samson.
Doc Samson's really cool character because he is the therapist for the Hulk, but he also is a gamma power superhero.
So he can take a punch from the Hulk, literally. Right. I mean, he'll get like a black eye.
He's the proponent of, if you can master your mindset, your body will come after that. So he's always trying to advise Bruce Banner. He's like, you got this, man. You are in control. Nah.
It's me, Bruce. It's me.
Right.
And then, of course, Rick Jones.
Jones. Rick Jones. God.
These are long-standing Hulk characters.
Who is Rick Jones?
Rick Jones was his best friend.
Yep.
And Rick Jones was in the field when the gamma radiation bomb was going off, and Bruce Banner ran out there. Did he push him out of the way or just stand over him?
No.
Oh, he pushed him into a hole.
Yeah, I pushed him in a hole and he shielded him with his body.
And he stood over him while the gamma radiation bomb tore through him. So Rick always had this saddening thought that,
that guilty conscience, that survivor's
Bruce
guilt.
saved me, and now he's this cursed being.
Right.
Because he knows that he's Hulk.
Yep.
He knew right away, actually.
Yep.
And Rick Jones has just been this recurring character. He's kind of like the Jimmy Olsen of the Hulk.
Certainly.
He's trying to just do his thing, but they always,
right.
I don't know, they always just
bonded for life.
Poop
man.
on him.
Yeah.
The writers are always like, oh, what can we torture Hulk with? Oh, yeah, bring Rick Jones up here.
Yeah, he's with them till the end, man. Yeah. Till the end. And so even in recent Hulk history, probably
he's his Sam to the Frodo.
He is
Rick Jones.
They even made him into the Abomination after the original Abomination kind of went away for a while. They're like, we'll make a new one. Who can we amp up? Rick Jones.
Bring Rick Jones out. Yeah. It's like they got a file folder of him just at the writer's office. Bring out
I think
Rick
it's not
Jones.
his first time being like a Hulk empowered before, but that was his first time like being enhanced by a different like DNA strand and stuff of the Abomination serum. And it was just like, whoa, dude. Okay. And then he died. But then they found him, and this kind of goes into the next arc that is the very big overarching story plot is the Green Door and Into Hell.
Oh, yes.
Marvel's new Marvel Hell.
What is the Green Door? You started seeing the Green Door at the beginnings every once in a while.
Yep. When we were talking about the Walking Man, the Walking Ghost, he's seen the Green Door.
Yeah.
Walter's seen the Green Door.
But
but nobody knew definitively what the Green Door was.
And that was kind of the spooky part of it too, of like
this is an Al Ewing creation. More. Absolutely. 100% Al Ewing.
Okay, so we have the Green Door.
The Green Door. And that is kind of this like post-apocalyptic, just war-torn world. Definitely a new hell. Well, to put it kindly. Yeah, even at the end of the volume, it says, welcome to hell. And honestly, that I don't know if other characters have access to it or it's only a space. Because Al Ewing tries to explain it as like it's like a space where gamma-powered people, when they die, that's when the Green Door opens and their soul can kind of cross over into it until
it's like a holding area.
Yep, it's a holding area until their body regenerates and itself, and then the person's soul can come back to their body.
So the Green Door is like this weird limbo area.
It's a limbo hell. Yeah, I would say
a holding spot.
It is
a waiting room
spot. And then this is also where like Hulk's other identities, they are all part of that. They all live there.
So when they come back, they're slightly changed, or they could be.
Between that is like mind space is there. This is kind of where, how does Hulk keep coming back? That's how. He resides in the Green Door until it opens. Some characters like Bruce, he sees it very frequently, so he can come back right away. Whereas Doc Samson, when it happens to him, he doesn't see it for a while. It takes him longer.
So he doesn't have like forever access to it.
No, not forever access. He has access, but it doesn't happen right away. And he might not have all his memories and things like that. So he just really, Al Ewing just really explores what this concept could be. And then that's where you find where Brian Banner resides. And he's like, ha, I got you now. And he tries to rule it. He tries to rule it. But then you find out there's always somebody in the bigger food chain. Yep.
Some other big bad boy other than you.
The one above, or is it the one below all?
Oh.
Is like this like Hell Lord. This Lord of like the below space.
Well, I like the idea of the Green Door too, because it was like just adding another dimension to it. And
Yeah.
instead of saying this is the multiverse or anything.
Right. Oh, because it's
just
been so
yeah.
overdone.
It's just
if
saying,
you think it's over now,
Yeah.
really super overdone
Whew.
now. Oh, this started a while ago.
I think it's like this is another area that is not totally mysterious. It's just a solid power spot that these types of matter and energy,
Right.
they just gather to, because that's the idea too. When you are killing or destroying something, it's like that matter is just being
That
shifted
energy,
somewhere.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
going somewhere. So
Right.
so Hulk's energy is being shifted
Yes.
somewhere instead of just, oh yeah, you can't get him.
Right. Even in some flashbacks when Hulk has died before, like he's getting sliced his head off by like Captain America's shield. He's gotten like frozen. He's had a heart attack. He does a meeting. He doesn't get up, but he keeps seeing the door. So that's a little retcon. Like Al Ewing is like, oh, he actually came back. Remember when he came back before, or he's gotten this accident or something happened. He always seen that door.
Yeah. You know,
so that's
I've
really
done my
cool
research. He's telling everyone.
Yeah. Oh,
I've
absolutely.
I've looked.
And he made it flow and just gave a explanation to it. So brilliant. Absolutely. And yeah, so that's a little bit of everything. We also get to see Betty Ross, who was Banner's wife. And they finally got married and everything. And then she became the Red Hulk for a bit. And now she's Harvey. They're still kind of not quite on speaking terms, but they're building it back.
You know,
Doc Samson and and Bruce kind of, help do some counseling. All right, trying to build it back. They even have conversations like, "I miss you." They want to build each other back, and she's like, "Bruce, you're a lot. You're a lot. Look at me, like I'm a Harpy now, but I chose this."
Also, it's good to mention that the Hulk does have a small healing factor,
yes,
of some sort,
absolutely,
just normally.
Yeah.
So he is already unstoppable. It's not like he's so.
Right.
There's always, you got to get creative or find an energy source,
absolutely,
to overpower him.
And then another, besides Brian Banner, besides the one above all or below all, I always have to say below, is the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And we just seen the leader in the Captain America Brave New World.
Yes, with
the and it was interesting to see them with the Red Hulk and see just how much corruption and influence that he has over. I believe the leader was invented either like
pretty really early on.
I
feel like I can see that cover too.
I was gonna say
in my brain, I see the comic cover.
Right, he's been around for quite a long time, and there he is, Samuel Stearns. He was made by Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. Yep. So really OG villain, and he, instead of getting smarter as the Hulk, or stronger as the Hulk, he became super smart. So that's why he has like the oversized brain.
Yeah. So all of the
strength,
power,
of the power of the Hulk went to his mind.
His muscle went to his mind. But they always showed him too, like where he can just piece together things. Like he was the ultimate strategist and ultimate bad guy, because he was like, I'm putting together this puzzle that's going to take a while to come together, but only I know it.
Yeah.
And
he's like more of a strategist.
Yeah. And it's like, he was always really good against the Hulk because people didn't see the Hulk as smart.
Right.
So they saw the leader as smart, but somehow the Hulk always won.
He was like the perfect foil.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the perfect addition. He
creates a lot of gamma powered villains, or he is always putting together a team to take down the Hulk and things like that. But instead of putting together a 1-to-1 direct like team to take him down, he's like, how can I use my intellect and outside forces to beat the Hulk? And so he finds out about the Green Door and he says, I want to take over. I want to see what that power is.
That's my spot now.
That's my spot now. And that is his end goal, is how do I rule this hell so that way Hulk can't come back. So he can stop being that's the Immortal Hulk.
That's the old, they can't keep coming back.
Right. And so you go throughout the story of seeing the leader, just kind of slowly pulling the strings together, slowly kind of seeing these villains, his encounters. And he's like, what can I take away from this to put it towards my plan? And it's such a brilliant payoff when you do discover what he's doing, how is he doing it, and ultimately, what does it take for the Hulk to go up against him? Because eventually he strips the Hulk away of everything, and he's like, "What do you have left?"
Good run.
His integrity. So yeah, and so this is over like a whole 50 issue run. Great. I guess let's talk about the art. Let's pause on the story elements and things like that. Talk about the art from Mr. Bennett.
I mean, I actually thought the art was not super horror. I thought it could get more horror.
Of course. And I think the new run, the Philip Kennedy Johnson run, the artist he has with him, they're going towards more of like, hey, you took horror, we'll take that more horror.
Yeah, and it is, but it isn't. And they kind of stayed true to what you would expect comic books to be anyway.
Right.
So they had that where they said, hey, we want to make it horror, but we don't want to just make it so dark and dismal and grungy. We want to still make it look like an actual comic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To blend in with regular
like
Hulk
you're
comics.
talking about taking the Hulk's body apart.
Yeah.
You're talking about sometimes he gets depowered or people suck the gamma out of him. So he's kind of like this flabby mess.
Yeah. And he becomes
kind of skeletal
his
almost.
face looks really like rough.
Stretchy.
Yeah.
He has like blood coming out sometimes. You have like a walking gamma radiated like skeleton. How do you picture that? What do you picture the green door that leads into this new hell? How do you do that? And I think Joe Bennett came out with a clear vision.
Yeah.
And
and I think they also added the whole Hulk coming out at night really helps because that adds to that horror aspect of it. You know, I mean, they were going for horror, and I think they got it, but they didn't like totally embrace it. But they had a story to tell.
Almost like cosmic, almost.
Yes.
Like, hey, you have eternity, you have chaos, you have order. What's in between all that?
The Hulk.
The Hulk.
But I do really think that the art is well done as far as keeping characters straight, because there's a lot of different characters in here.
Oh yeah,
and
like you're almost paying a homage to the Hulk's history.
Yes, it's like the biography of Hulk.
Yeah. Kind of going through everything, each
these
player
are the days
is kind of bringing
lives.
something new to the table. They bring in Roxanne like oil company again. That's like a huge company from the Marvel universe.
Yes.
Because then they want to put like the political aspect onto it, like the Zodiac with the Minotaur. That was easily my hardest arc to get through, because I'm like, Minotaur, he's okay. The weirdest villain was, I think it's Xanadu. He's like this big furry monster that has psychic powers that influences everybody around him through his like pheromones and psychic abilities to pretend they're in like a children's like TV show. And he is like the hero of the hero, and the Hulk is the villain. And so it's like this influence. And that's Minotaur like hires him because he knows he can't beat him.
There's always got to be a little piece in there.
And that's a part of like a Hulk like villain, but it's such a deep cut.
Well, it's
but it's cool.
You want everything to continue in that first 1 or 2 volumes. You want
to test him. You want, and then also when Xanadu comes, like it peels away like the layers and psychic barriers of the like Hulk's mentality and all of his personas. So we get back to that component.
Well, and you kind of trust that the writer has this long.
Yeah,
you get that feeling also, aside from the artwork. Just you do get the feeling that this is a long, slow burn. Like this is getting to
fast.
Something. Yeah,
it's easy to read, but it's not a fast.
And it's getting to a good.
There's definitely a lot of good arcs to it. Yeah, absolutely. Like there is one like ongoing story, but yeah, definitely the arcs are really interesting the way he designs them. But yeah, it was such a great homage to, I think, everything's like the Hulk has been part of. It asks a lot of questions about what does he truly mean? Because there's some points where like he wants to like take over everything, and he wants to like take down the corporations and everything. He's like, is that who you are? Do you really want to be this like egotistical person? Like, really, who are you, Hulk? Who are you, Bruce Banner? And that's something that
Yeah.
as a great
No,
writer,
so
you
that-
could kind of explore those dimensions.
Well,
and-
like when Stan Lee created Hulk,
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh yeah, gamma radiation," and you didn't really even know what that meant. It's like it's just gamma rays.
right.
It's like saying, "Oh, we're gonna have a villain now that's ultraviolet rays," and all different kind of energy spectrums, and just run with it and just say, "What? It's science." It's radioactive waste. That's what
Oh,
happened.
Chernobyl. That's what I was trying to think.
Oh,
I
yeah,
I just
Chernobyl.
watched this like that series on
Mhm.
HBO, and then I read this. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool because that's kind of like some of that plot and stuff is kind of influenced by it.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, I think it does definitely a great deconstruction of the Hulk, explores new personas, pushes the character in ways that's never been really pushed before, and really kind of brings it home. The villains are fantastic. The Fantastic Four do appear. That was really cool. And some of the background, there are different like writers' names in there. I don't know if you picked up on that. I think in one of the bars, I think Bill Matlow was like recognized. John Burns recognized. Now I have to find it.
That's kind of the route that a lot of these new stories are going, is that they're taking the entire history of comics, changing it just enough for new readers,
Right.
and then saying this is a fresh but old but new take.
Buscema's, yep, because Sal Buscema worked
Buscema.
on their own Buscema's, and it happens all throughout these volumes of that. So I thought that was pretty cool, and you see it like different diners and stuff, or different gas stations. I'll put up a different that.
That's a good way to do it.
Absolutely, I love it. I love it because then everything feels connected. You're honoring the history. Super cool run. Overall, what were your thoughts?
Overall, I think this is one of those that even if you're not a big fan of the Hulk in general, right? Like some people say, "Oh, I don't read the Hulk." It's a story that I could see people using as a jumping off point, like
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, I really like this idea of it." Then they'll go back and read some of the old school Hulk.
Yes, like
Because-
I want to go back and read Peter David's run
Yeah,
because I have
like,
collected and
Old school Hulk relied a lot on other characters to push his story along,
Absolutely.
because Hulk was
Or persona, or let's introduce this new persona.
yes, and he was always a reaction, and he wasn't a plan, right? So
right,
so whenever a story needed some extra oomph, they would be like, "Oh man, we're gonna do a Hulk run,"
right,
and so Hulk always had other characters pushing his base story along. This becomes his base story now, and other people have to fit into it. So that's where I
Yes.
really like it, is that I love when they take characters that I consider legacy characters and give them a special little
Right.
twist.
absolutely. And we also forgot to mention Alex Ross did all the covers.
Oh, yeah, yes.
all the main run covers. He's the artist, and he had time. It's like, Alex Ross, you do so much. How do you have time to do all the Hulk covers? He must have really liked the series enough to like, yeah, I'll do all the covers.
Yeah.
I haven't did Hulk, or at least not that much to extent. Really beautiful covers. We can't, it's Alex Ross. But this like 3-year run was really cool to revisit the first 2 volumes, continue to finish the story. I highly encourage you to check it out. It's collected in omnibus format now. It's still accessible to get. It is like a 1,600 page like volume. The only thing that isn't collected in the deluxe editions that I had was like the tie-ins with like Absolute Carnage, King in Black, things like that. Stuff that L. Ewing didn't write. So he still has some of those. But I think just reading the core run is amazing. I really enjoy this series. And I was so happy to finally say I read this on my
Check.
And Al Ewing right now, he is writing Absolute Green Lantern. So he is kind of, after this run, he still does a little bit here and there for Marvel. He's kind of the guy who does a little bit of everything, a 1 issue, 2 issue. This is his longest run on a series of so far. He's did like some Venom runs and things like that, but this is kind of like his gem, I would say. But now, like Green Lantern, he's doing some like groundbreaking renovations with that.
Nice.
Taking the character way out of left field and really doing another deconstruction. So I think he's good at that, and he really found his niche in the Hulk, and he set the bar high. So yeah, this has been a great episode of Bam Pow Comic Hour. This is Andrew Glonner
and Chris Ramos
signing off.